Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Antoinette here from Antoinette Intuitive Tarot and Jewellery. We have a change of scenery today, so I apologise for the noise. I'm in the shed, there's a bit of banging, lots of wind, and I have the fire on in here, which is why I'm here. I'm also just brewing some tea. So this one's a little bit of a long one, it's a ramble, but it is basically my answers to the rest of the VRs to Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge, which I am well aware I fell by the wayside after I think day 19. So today I plan to answer all the outstanding questions. Here goes the door. It's open and closing because the dogs keep come running in and I can't lock it because they get very upset with me. So, moving swiftly forwards. How's the weather for you? If you can't tell, it's Halloween. Today is the 31st of October, so I thought a brilliant way to finish off the 31 days of tarot was to get the last, I think I have 12 days in. So let's go. I've got them written down in my book, so I'm going to keep looking down to refer to my diary. And this is, for those of you who are familiar with me, this is the Celtic Moon Diary from the Flickering Cauldron, which this year, instead of doing the Celtic Moon Diary, they've done the Egyptian Moon Diary in its place, and they've continued with their standard Moon Diary, the normal one, which I absolutely love and also own and covet very much. So day 20, what is my favourite tarot spread at the moment? I think for most of this year I have been leaning on 3-card spreads, whether they have a designated space for each card or if it's just laying 3 cards and reading the story, going through the 3 cards. That's how I've been preferring to do spreads of late. If I'm wanting a quick answer or a little bit of insight. One that I was using for a while, quite a few months ago, and well, probably the start of the year actually, was a 3-card spread with the positions for kind of like a generalized what's going on. So where you are now, how you're going to get there, and where you're going to. That was one of the 3-card spreads that I used quite a bit for probably the first 6 months of the year, to be honest. And after that, just trying out people's suggestions for 3-card spreads. Past, present and future is a popular one, I know. I don't use it a lot though, to be fair. I don't use that one a lot. I think for the most part when I put 3 cards down, it's normally because they've come out of the deck as I'm shuffling, so they've just flipped out. So I put them down and I've read them in the storyline that they fall out in because they haven't been designated positions. So yeah, that is my favourite or most used tarot spread this year, I think. Day 21 card is what cards relate to me personally. Asking for both. So one is the astrology association to me, and the other one is personal cards which I'm drawn to. So my astrology sign is the Hermit for the day that I was born, or the day that I was born on, and I do associate with him quite strongly actually. I like to hermit in my cave. I like to be by myself. I like to learn. I like to seek the answers from within. I like to get information from lots of places, lots of sources, and then I like to go quiet. I like to go inside and see what resonates, what forms for me, and what my own opinions are then from the information I've gathered and how I wish to use it or move forwards. And personally, the cards that I am drawn to within a deck, being an air sign, I actually really enjoy the sword cards. I find them the easiest ones to connect to because why wouldn't I? It's who I am, it's the nature of who I am as a person. And I find cups probably one of my hardest decks suits to resonate with. I've just got to let the dog in 1 second. She's not, well, I don't know, she might appear on camera, you never know, you'll see her like run around the back of me. Okay, so number 22, day 22. If I was shipwrecked, my top 5 desert, oracle and tarot decks, and why? That's quite difficult. Do you know, I didn't prepare for that and I didn't bring all those out with me. However, let's think. Oracle decks. Garden of Lucid Daydreams by Patrick Valenza, most definitely. That is, I have a walkthrough of that one. Love that deck, even just for inspiration. Denise Lynn, I think it is, Sacred Destiny, most definitely that deck. I think it's by Kyle somebody. Oracle of Angels and Ancestors, most definitely that deck for Oracle. I don't know. The Seasons of the Witch, Samhain edition, because out of the two that have been released so far, this is one that I adore. One more. Who will it be? There are other Patrick Valenza oracles which I do love. However, I'm thinking probably Les Vampires Oracle by Lucy Cavendish. And is that one Yasmin Beckett Griffiths for the artwork? I can't remember because it's not here. But those would be my 5 on the spot oracle decks. And the 5 tarot decks. Ooh. So Deviant Moon, hands down. Probably Tarot of the She. Probably Bone, Stone and Earth Flesh. The Guardian Tarot for kind of weird insight and wisdom. And I've put something in a tin to keep it protected, waterproof, soundproof. So maybe the Barbara Walker Tarot would be my 5 today being pushed. Those are my 5 for the tarot. So that's day 22. What are your top 5? Like, what would you take if you were pushed, like right now, answering honestly off the top of your head? You haven't got time to go and think about it. What are you grabbing? And you only have room for 5 of each. 2 separate bags, so you can't mix them up. So you can't swap out a couple of oracles for a couple of tarots. I know what you people are like. Let me see, so where are we? Day 23. So day 23 is most sassy and most gentle tarot decks, and why? I mean, is tarot gentle ever? Even people that have like rainbow coloured decks and pastel decks all seem to say the same thing. It gives it to you straight. Most sassy, I don't know. I mean, maybe my most gentle would be the Maria Celia, just because of the colour palette in this. This is the only reason for this one, because it's a really kind of lovely colour palette. It's got some nice pips in it, which, you know, when they're not pictorialized, then they seem to come across gentle. Is that pip? Yes. So that's probably, I don't know, maybe what I'd call a gentle deck. Nice colours, pips, not too much to tell you off about. Then maybe I would say Tarot of the She for a kind of sassy deck. This one doesn't really pull a lot of punches with what it has to tell you. It's got some keywords within the deck as well. Does she have one? No, that was the Sun. This one is the Gift of Wisdom. Nightmares. Some great colours in that, really good imagery. The Warrior Princess is the Gift of Courage. So Insight's Voyage, Dreamer 6, which would be your 6 of Swords. Yeah, I found this one to be quite quite truthful and to the point. I did a reading for somebody. I didn't really know the ins and outs of what was going on. I knew something was happening. They wanted to know what was happening with a family member, not something I would normally do. So we just asked for the energy around what was going on, and the cards that this pulled out, they gave out a truth that that person wasn't ready to hear. So I just left them with the picture of cards, because they do read tarot themselves, and left them to take what they could from the message as and when they were ready to receive it, because I don't believe in giving or forcing news on somebody if they're saying no. And because it was that moment of being an almost third party reading, I just wanted to know what the energy was of the situation, because they were related to the situation rather than what was happening with that person. But it just turned out that there was something that they weren't ready to hear. And yeah, as the cards said it all kind of happened. So that one was it. What I would call a learning lesson. One of those moments where you kind of, you know, the ethics of everything that comes into play that you've kind of set down and put down for yourself because it's a friend and they're begging you. And you know, those moments where your judgment kind of says, oh, go on, it's friend, you know, pity, not pity party, but you feel you want to help them, yeah, it was one of those moments. Anyway, enough about that. Moving on to day 24. Share a tarot myth I used to believe. Well, I don't know. I mean, most beliefs that I've had, I've usually challenged. So I don't know that I had one that I believed that I've broken. I mean, I know one of those ridiculous myths are that you can't read tarot unless you're gifted a deck. Well, absolute nonsense, because how did the first person ever who reads tarot get a tarot deck? I mean, okay, maybe that person was gifted one to try, but really, truthfully, think about it. It's just a gatekeeping thing, I think. Simple as that. If you want to read tarot, you want to have a tarot deck, go and buy yourself one that you like the images on, that kind of resonates with you, that calls you because you feel that the artwork speaks to you. That's the best way to get yourself a tarot deck, not wait for somebody to give it to you. Yeah, go for it. Day 25, thoughts on tarot becoming mainstream. I think that's really good. Tarot is a tool for many forms of divination. So just checking my T's, not overboiling there. For all forms of divination, and it's a great helping tool. It's a great self-help tool. It's a great self-realization tool. It helps you delve into your psyche in ways that you aren't aware that you're doing sometimes. It helps you to unpick mysteries. Yeah, I think becoming mainstream is a good thing. I don't think that it should just be gate kept. I don't think it should just be like some mysterious, weird, wonderful knowledge that people are scared of. There are different forms of tarot, absolutely. There are people who use it psychically and almost like in a mediumistic manner to kind of sort of, they're like seers, the seers of tarot. And then there are people who can use it as counselling aids, as helping people with the pictures to see what's going on with them. And same with lots of oracle decks, same sorts of things. So, I mean, yeah, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree or do you disagree? Those are just my opinions. Of course, they're open for people to have their own opinions on. I don't expect you to necessarily agree with me, but you might actually have something to add to that as well that I can then say, yeah, I agree with that too. So yeah, interesting to find out. So day 25, share my first professional reading experience. I have to be honest, I can't really remember. I don't have documentation of it, but all I can say is it can't have been bad, otherwise I wouldn't have carried on. I think it's probably about my 5th or 6th reading where I was like, oh, I'm not making this stuff up. The validation from people when they were saying, you know, well done, that's spot on. That was probably when I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not just making it up. There is something here. I can't put my finger on it. My science mind can't work it out. But yeah, so sorry, I can't give you any more insightful information there, but I was probably petrified. I was probably dry-mouthed. I know it was an online thing. I think I videoed it. I think my first 20 or so, which I did for strangers because I wanted to test myself, was, I think I videoed them. I just laid out some cards, made my own kind of weird and wonderful spread, put the cards down, gave them a video recording and sent it to them and waited for the response. So yeah, day 20, that was day 26. I get myself mixed up. Day 27. How do I pick my tarot decks for readings? So for my readings, for me, for my kind of stuff, I sort of try to rotate my decks around. So I pick a couple of decks to use throughout the month of X, and they go onto my shelf, and those are the ones I use for my readings. One will be my daily readings, one will be my kind of week ahead readings or like standard readings, and I may pull another deck for special readings or Sabbath readings, you know, those sorts of things, just to tap into other energies if I feel like I want to, because some decks are a bit more personal to me, and therefore I pull those. If the images speak to me in a different way, then that's what I would use. How do you select your decks? If I'm reading for other people, again, sometimes it's just what's nearest to me, so whatever deck has had my attention lately, and therefore probably the most energy from me into it, would be what I'd use, because I'm resonating with it at that point in time. So day 27 was, how do I pick my decks? Let's move to day 28. Day 28. Thoughts on tarot deck mods. Would I write on a deck? I love watching deck mods. I love watching people modify their decks, what they do to them, how they do it. I love seeing all the amazing colours they put on the borders, the people who dare to chop into their decks and make them smaller, take the borders off, takes the titles off. Dawn Michelle at Boho Tarot is a great one for doing that, and inspired me first time round to edge my Ciro Marchetti. Is it Tower of the Gateway? I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Tower of the Gateway. But I put a red metallic or a pink metallic border onto those. That was my first ever modification of a deck. And this year I actually attempted to modify a deck in size. So I took the Everyday Enchantment by Poppy Palin, and I cut the top and side borders off. I think I cut 3 sides off and left the bottom on, and then corner rounded them, and that was my first ever trimming of an actual deck. So those are the only 2 that I've done. I love watching people's mods, and it always inspires me, but to be honest, I do not have the patience to sit and do it all the time. It really does take time and effort and dedication to do that sort of thing. Day 29, here we go. Most often asked question to the cards. To be fair, the most often asked question is normally when people want to know about a subject that I probably wouldn't want to read on. So if they're asking like an awkward yes/no question, or a health question, or third-party relationship sort of question, for those it's always swapped to the energy of X, and then that's how I would read for those, and that is probably therefore becomes my most asked question when reading for other people to the cards. For myself, my most asked question is every single day, tell me about my energy for today. What do I need to be aware of today? What energies do I need to know for today? That is the thought process I have when I'm shuffling my card just for the day, card for the day to be aware of, and not one that I abide by the entire day with, but I just find it curious to see if and where and when that plays out in my day, and if it was significant enough to be pulled for the day as well. So that's my daily card pull, and what I read for other people the most common. Day 30, share one new thing I learned about tarot this year. So keywords, there were definitely some new keywords I added to my tarot library this year, and different ways of working with the cards. So using them for readings, connecting to spirits of past. That was one of the things I did this year. I haven't spent a lot of time doing that, but that is something that I played with right at the very start with tarot, not really understanding what I was doing, so I thought I might like to come back and revisit that practice, because actually it worked really well for me. But that takes time and practice. I need to find one deck that I will use for that. Oh, there's another dog. Yeah, so I think that's probably two things that I learned. Where's my day 31? Share a deck that you no longer feel you want to own or that you would like to lose. I don't have one. I love all my decks. I think right at this point in time, I'm still getting to know the Dark Grimoire Tarot, but I don't think I want to lose it or not own it. I just, I'm finding that one perhaps isn't one that I could use as a daily reading card tarot deck. I think that one's got a specific space in my library and will have a specific purpose, which is another new thing to me. I never really bothered with specific purpose decks. I think that one might have a specific purpose, and I'm to unfold that for me still. So that one's going to be a little bit of a journey, and I'm looking forward to knowing more about it. So here we go. My dog, there she is. Right, those are my 31 days of tarot questions. Finished, complete. My VRs to Ethony are done. My job here is done. That's amazing. I was actually getting a bit concerned that I might not complete them, having set myself that task. And yes, it was a bit of a cop out doing it this way, but at least now I'm done and I don't have to, it's not there, you know, telling me that I haven't done it yet. Right, my milk is ready. I'm going to make myself a matcha latte. I have my cup all ready to go. So I'm going to bid you all farewell and happy Halloween, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.